Hey guys, and welcome back to Runway from the Rav, a Project Runway podcast. My name is Riley.
And I'm Maggie.
And today we'll be discussing Season 15, Episode 12. And the theme this time was it was another unconventional challenge, back to back, the third of the season. And it was a high fashion challenge. They had 2 days, and then the idea here was that they were going to travel. And it turned out they went to Austin, Texas. And Austin is known for being weird and having like this heavy art and music scene, and like their quote for their motto for the city is keep Austin weird. So the idea was for them to go to 2 key places in Austin to get like unconventional materials that were weird, but then in the end they had to make a high fashion look. And they went to like a barbecue place and a like general store.
Yeah, I don't even know what you would call that, yeah.
Yeah, because it had like pet supplies and like outdoor stuff. And then our sponsor this episode was Best Western Hotels, which is part of the big prize package at the end. So you got 50 nights at any Best Western all around the world. And then the person who gave us that was not a Best Western person, but it was Nick from a previous season. And I know he does little reviews of the Project Runway on Twitter and stuff, so that's cool. So we got to see him, and then there was a twist this time. So everybody gets their unconventional materials, they fly back to New York, and it's a 2-day challenge, which is pretty rare. And then on the second day, Tim comes in and says, record scratch, you have to make a second look using conventional materials. We're going to Mood, and you have to make a second garment that kind of pairs with your unconventional garment. So they should go together like a tiny mini collection. And of course all the designers were like, what? So that was the premise of the episode. Unconventional, high fashion, Austin, Texas.
Which, by the
2
way,
looks.
Is Austin really Heidi Klum's hometown?
No, it was a joke.
Okay, I just missed the joke.
Yeah, well, because she was trying to do a southern accent.
Well, yeah.
But I don't know where she was born in Germany, but I'm pretty sure she's from Germany.
Well, yeah, that's what I thought. But then I was like, did she mean like she was just, I don't know.
Yeah, well, and to be honest, I don't know where Seal is from, so maybe she lived in Austin for a while. I don't know enough about Heidi Klum's personal life to know if she has any ties to Austin, or if that was just like a joke because of her really bad German mixed with southern accent.
Right.
But she also did not go to Austin with them. It was just him.
No, it just didn't really translate to me, but...
They really like to have their themey, like when they tell you what the challenge is going to be, when we got to see Tim Gunn in swim trunks.
That was good.
Or the big light switch, remember? Like for the glow in the dark challenge. So there's just, they keep it fresh.
Yeah.
They keep it hip.
That's true.
So that was the challenge this time. 2 days, 2 looks, unconventional materials of weird Austin stuff. So, were there any, I don't remember any, like, key Austin times, other than people running around getting certain, like, Cornelius got a lot of dog treats, Erin found some dried mealworms, her and Laurence actually both went for, like, bird food kind of stuff, and then Laurence and Rick both went for, like, leather straps for, like, horse harnesses, and Robert just got twine, like a bunch of it. And then we found out that when he is anxious or nervous, he makes knots. So, like, some people, like, chew their fingernails, or they, like, pull out their own hair, or they, like, scribble. He makes knots, which I was like, well, what an oddly actually constructive thing to do, I guess. So, do you remember anything from Austin stood out to you?
No.
They really try to make Best Western look really nice on the inside. I have to admit, I don't know that I've ever stayed at Best Western.
Yeah, I don't know.
But when I think of Best Western, I don't think of, like...
luxury.
Right, I think of it, like, in terms of, like, a Holiday Inn. Or, like, something like that. Maybe not, like, as low as, like, a Super 8 or something.
Right.
But, like, just a middle-of-the-road kind of hotel. But maybe they're pretty nice. And then international, either way. Who wouldn't want to spend 50 nights or 50 trips all around the world? Heck yeah. For free? Yeah. Well, at least your most expensive part, the staying. I don't remember much. We saw a few snips and snaps of Austin. I've never been to Austin, have you? I've only ever been to San Antonio and Dallas in Texas, and neither of them are known for being weird.
I haven't been to Texas at all. So.
Oh, well, boy, howdy. It was a good time. But we saw, like, murals and some stuff like that. But then the two places they went, it's like a general store and a barbecue place. Mm-hmm. Unique to Texas, probably not super unique to Austin. And they kept making jokes about, like, cowboys and boots and stuff like that. And I'm like, I don't think that's what Austin is known for.
No.
Compared to other parts of Texas that are all about, like, longhorns and cowboys history. So, the workroom. Unconventional again, back to back. So working with weird materials, although this time is a little quieter, no metal. Mm-hmm. People got stuff like, because it's also known for a music scene, there was like records, plastic cups, the mealworms, guitar picks, birdseed napkins. I'm trying to think of other stuff that they picked up. Dog treats. Cornelia's got a ton of dog treats. Leather stuff like horse equipment. I'm trying to think of any key moments that really stood out in the workroom. There's only 5 of them now, so you got to hear more about like what their design was. Mm-hmm. But there was a couple. I took some notes, a couple quotes this time. Nothing like last week was really good. Mm-hmm. At one point, Cornelius said, quote unquote, "I don't really like worms," which I found funny because just last episode he said, "I love parasites." And he made a dress that was a worm parasite devouring a woman from the uterus up through the top of her body. Mm-hmm. But, quote unquote, he doesn't really like worms.
No, apparently not.
Yeah, despite loving worm parasites, he doesn't like worms. But I also found that an odd thing to say because who does love worms? Like,
who loves parasites?
I guess. Maybe he was like, yeah, Erin obviously loves worms. No, she just wanted it to be weird. She even said that. Like, they grabbed the weirdest things they could because that was the challenge. And then at Mood, Tim, like, thanked Mood for the season because they're basically kind of done with Mood now. It's up to the designer's discretion for the final 4 if they go to Mood to get their materials or whatnot. Right. And then if there is a twist challenge at the end, which we don't know yet, they might go to Mood for. But otherwise, this is kind of the end of, like, the main season. Mm-hmm. And then as they were leaving, Tim said, "Say good luck to the designer, Swatch." And then Swatch, on cue, was like running out with them. He's like, like right after. I love Tim and Swatch. Because you can tell how much of like a gentle soul Tim is. Mm-hmm. And he's like in the workroom, like he tries to give his critiques and he can be serious or funny. But with Swatch, you can just tell that he's just a sweetheart and just being like, tell the designers good luck, Swatch. Like, I love it. And that might be the end of Swatch this season. We don't know.
Probably.
So it was a good final couple episodes because last week he was not having it. Yeah. Lots of barking, lots of very upset Swatch. Mm-hmm. And then this week a little well-timed.
Yep.
I'm trying to think of other stuff. So Erin got the mealworm. She spray painted them gold. Mm-hmm. Cornelius got some cups. He spray painted them like silver, black, and like lime green.
Yeah.
Laurent, everybody was using hot glue guns. Robert had like bandages all over his fingers because what he ended up doing with his twine was making knots and like braiding it into like a macrame. And twine, very hard, like a rough. And to keep like knotting that, like he was like ripping his fingers up.
Yeah.
Cornelius seemed to struggle this week in terms of having an idea. He said he didn't want to be a structure this time. He just wanted to, like, go with the flow and let the materials tell him where to go. But he really was struggling that whole first day of not really knowing what to make. Mm-hmm. And then to have to find out the next morning that you have to make a whole nother look. And he's like, I don't even have my other look. So. Mm-hmm. And then Robert, just the time of making an entire knotted handmade dress is rough. And I think we've seen people knit before and have had some trouble with that. Erin, in classic Erin form, made applique flowers.
Yep.
In a clever way, she like melted guitar picks together and then hot glued golden mealworms, which may be the most unique flower ever.
It was cool.
They turned out better than I expected, but it just Erin in her flower applique. I don't remember much. When Tim came through with his critiques, he wasn't wowed.
No.
With most people. Like, most of them, he thought their unconventional was fine, but because they had to go and make a second conventional dress that had to pair with it, he was like, you need to, like, this is not enough. He called Rick's a country bumpkin dress, rough, harsh critic from Tim. Yeah. Especially with your Austin theme to be like country bumpkin. No one wants that. Mm-hmm. And that's because Rick went with a black tweed again. We've seen him use tweed quite a bit. There's a lot of repetitive treatments this season. I feel more so than ever before. Mm-hmm. Like, we've always had, like, Keeney with his denim or Sean with his, like, fringe where they, like, use it occasionally. But this time it's, like, Erin in her applique, Rick and Laurence with their black, Rick with his tweed, Majing with his denim, Cornelius with his just awful designs. Yeah. And it's just, like, what? What are you doing? I guess it was the same, like, was it last season or season before, like, Ashley with her circle skirts and Edmund with his, like, skin tight, like club dresses. So I guess everybody has their style, but well, are we ready to go to the runway then? Yeah. I mean, there's only 5 designers. There's not, and there wasn't much drama. Like, everybody seemed to be getting along pretty well. Like, Cornelius wasn't throwing shade really.
No, he actually had like a really laid back, like, positive attitude this week, even though he was like kind of short on time and struggling to come up with an idea. He was still just like, I'll figure it out. Yeah. Like, he didn't seem
We saw more of, like, Roberry's anxiety. Yeah. And even slightly the Ronce's, because she went out of her comfort zone and did not make a black piece this week. Yeah. So, all right. So, to the runway. Yep. A short runway. We're down top 5. So, first up, we had Erin, and everybody that was their unconventional came out first. So, first came her unconventional, and she remade hers like 2 or 3 times just in terms of where things would go. And it ended up being this white skirt, and I'm not sure of the material, with a guitar cord like belt, like midsection belt, and then it had like a bib top that had upside down like band pins with guitar pick and worm flowers, like appliqued on like just like the top part of the bib kind of. And then the pins kind of made this like texture underneath. So what did you think of that?
I loved it. I thought it was really, really cool. And yeah, those worms, I was not sure like what she was gonna do with those. Like, I thought those were gonna be like really prominent, but it was just like a really subtle detail. But I don't know. I just thought that the top was like a really cool texture, and I like that she added that little belt. I don't know. I liked it. What do you think?
I liked it more than I expected, but I'm not a huge fan of flower applique. And considering that we just came off a previous unconventional challenge where she also made unconventional flower applique, I don't remember her first one if she did the same thing or not. But I was just like, well, were they different flowers? Yeah. Did she use them in a different way? Kinda. But it was the same idea of like, I'll make a garment and then I'll glue some funky stuff on top. I liked the creativity of the guitar picks and the mealworms. I thought that actually turned out pretty well. And I like how unconventional using a dead bug is. Like, that's unconventional. That's avant-garde. Like, that's weird to me. And I don't think... last few seasons for unconventional, we haven't seen much like living stuff. Like, one of the early seasons they had to do like a grocery store unconventional, and we had the famous corn dress and some other just amazing things. And I remember there was another year where Andre or somebody did something with grass, like he wanted to put like grass on. So this was obviously it's not alive, these bugs were already dead, but so that was kind of interesting. So then her second piece was a patterned, like brightly colored pattern with like leaves and flowers and pineapples, and it was a jumpsuit with a deep V-neck, and then it was like kind of a cropped leg, kind of flowy. Yeah. So what do you think of this one?
I liked it. I mean, it's not my style. Like, I would never be able to pull off something like that, or would, like, you know, I wouldn't want to either. Right. It's just, it's a lot. I can't see myself in it, but I liked it, and I did feel like they went together. Who was it? Nina? She wasn't impressed by it. But I don't know. It was, like, that to me was just middle of the road. Like, she did what she had to do to get that second piece done. Right. So, I don't know.
Yeah. And no one's conventional look was really that mind-blowing. It was basically just make something that's decent that kind of looks similar. I thought it looked like Erin. I didn't think it went with the first piece that much. Like, some of the colors, but just the fact that you went from this super short dress with all this detailing to like this super simple jumpsuit. I was just like, would the same person wear that? I don't know. Would the same girl, as they like to say, wear it? I don't know. But the jumpsuit seemed well made. I just hated the pattern. Yeah. But that's not, you know, she said she'd pick a pattern that she wouldn't normally pick, but that she still kind of liked. And it was loud and vibrant.
Mm-hmm.
And the jumpsuit fit well.
Yeah.
It was a little baggy, but it was just something easy to put on, I guess, if you like jumpsuits.
Mm-hmm.
So that was Erin, and she was... Everybody got critique, obviously, because there's only 5. But she was in the top.
Yep.
So next up, we had Rick. And his unconventional was another black dress, which he just made a black unconventional dress last time.
Mm-hmm.
And by last time, I mean literally last episode. So he made a black dress that had like a harness detail at the top and on the back. And then he cut up records, like vinyl records, and he made that on the top in this kind of... It looked kind of cool, like plastic jewel kind of things, very shiny, light reflective, at the top part of the dress. And then he made, using leashes and guitar straps, like a bandage kind of skirt. So what'd you think of Rick's first look?
I liked it. I mean, it was like kind of similar to what he did last week, where, you know, he used stuff to create more of a texture.
Right.
But I don't know. I thought it was different enough from last week where it didn't connect. Like, it didn't bother me that much.
Mm-hmm.
That it was like black and about textures again. But I don't know. I mean, I didn't love it, but I liked it. I don't know. I don't know about this one. What do you think?
I liked it. I really like how Rick can take unconventional things and make them look, at least from like on TV or probably on the runway, like they're conventional materials. Mm-hmm. Like I would not have thought those were dog leashes or like guitar straps. I would not have thought that that was cut up record, probably until you get much closer. Mm-hmm. I also I think the very first episode, Rick made what I kind of thought looked like a stormtrooper dress. It was like this glossy white and black little dress. This one was giving me a little more Darth Vader vibes with like the black shiny at the top, kind of like his chest piece that like keeps him alive.
Yeah.
So I was just like, Rick with his Star Wars, man, he's bringing it. And his like weird like 90s kind of, I don't like what he made for the glow in the dark. Like I don't know what fashion that is, but it feels more 90s to me. Mm-hmm. And just his constant harness details and straps and stuff, kind of like his apron dress. So I liked it in terms of like I could wear it, and this was not an avant-garde challenge, so he did great with the unconventional materials. I just feel like Rick plays it safe a lot by using black. So does Laurence. Yeah. But Rick usually then doesn't have like, his details are good, but I was just like, it's not super exciting. And for the Austin weirdness, no.
Yeah, that's true.
Not weird at all to me.
Yeah.
So his second piece, he used that black tweed that he's used several times, including I think for his mom's kind of garment. It was a tweed, very simple dress, and he kind of tore up the tweed with like scissors and added some like patches and stuff. Mm-hmm. And then it had black straps. And it was very simple.
Mm-hmm. Super simple.
Yeah.
What was the like neckline of it? That's what I can't remember. Was it just like kind of straight across?
I think it was just straight across, like on the collarbone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's what I didn't really like about it. I honestly didn't think it was that terrible. I mean, it was simple. There really wasn't much to it, and I guess maybe that was just it. It's just that it was just so basic, and there was just nothing there. But I don't know. I felt like that's kind of how everybody else's conventional one was. Yeah, like everybody
but Roberry's, I think, was just like Erin's jumpsuit was only unique because it had a pattern and a deep V, but otherwise, and most jumpsuits do have a deep V, so it's like you just made a jumpsuit, you just happened to pick an exciting fabric, but because Rick used his typical black, you just don't see some of the details, and then it did look rushed, even though he seemed to have the most time of anybody, because he always kind of knows what he wants to make. Mm-hmm. So that was Rick, and he was in the bottom.
Yeah.
The judges were a little split on him, but most of them were like, we like your unconventional, but we dislike your conventional so much. Next up we have Laurence, and she did not use black this week. No. She made this, I'll call it gray dress with birdseed panels. So the top was like this asymmetrical leather shoulder holding up a bodice that was like, I think it was just muslin, but then it had birdseed glued over top of it, so it had this cool texture. And then the skirt was a pleated, like knee-length kind of skirt, and it was pleated with the panels of birdseed and then like crumpled up napkin.
Yeah.
that she, like, spray painted blackish gray.
Yeah, is that what that was?
Yeah, it was originally
like...
muslin, and then Tim called her out on it, so she put, like, paper, like, napkins that she kind of crumpled up. So what did you think of Laurence's first look?
It was okay. Like, she really went for it to try and use the unconventional stuff. But I don't know. I liked how she did the shoulders and that, like, strap across the top. But I don't know. Birdseed, to me, I was just kind of like, ugh. Like, it's not very transformed. You can tell exactly what it is. Or at least I thought you could. I don't know. I mean, I know she kind of made, like, a texture out of it. But I don't know. It was just okay to me. And I didn't like... I think I would have liked it more if the whole skirt was birdseed. Rather than, like, panels like that with the weird gray in between. I don't know. What'd you think?
I liked it. It was giving me, like, half steampunk, half Mad Max realness on the top, just because that asymmetrical. And she had, like, she left the harnesses. Rick got the same harnesses. He painted them black, or he got black ones. Laurence's were, like, that orangey brown, like, leather color. And then with the yellow orangey birdseed, I thought from afar the birdseed looked good. I thought it looked like kind of like a tweed fabric or like a textured fabric. I wish the skirt was not pleated. I think it would have looked better if it was, I don't know, either like sleek or voluminous, or like you said, with either more birdseed or no birdseed and it had been something else. But just the top, to me, did not match the pleated bottom as much.
Yeah.
But I liked the overall idea of it, and I don't think... Like, I just liked that she took a big step out of her comfort zone, and she did a shoulder detail, but it was very different from what she's done in the past. And then I liked the idea of the birdseed, but I imagine that it was just raining off of that girl. Yeah. Like, I imagine she went down the runway. Like, they didn't really zoom in. I bet there was, like, tiny bits, like, falling out, like, and then bouncing off the runway, like, into people's laps and stuff. Just because there's no way that would all stay on.
Right.
So her second piece was this yellow, like mustard yellow leather dress with like a brown shoulder detail. And then it was like a bodycon kind of dress, to about like lower thigh. And they had a back cutout that she trimmed with like leather, and then it had like leather or at least brown like cording up the back. So it had a couple details, but it was simple as well. What'd you think of that one?
This one, I kind of just thought same level as Rick. Like, I didn't think it was that bad.
Yeah.
It's just whatever. Like, I don't know. At least she put in, like, a little detail in the back. And, like, it wasn't just mustard. Like, she also incorporated some leather details in there. And so, like, yeah, it wasn't, like, the best thing she's ever made. And she didn't like it either. Like, she just seemed like she wanted to be done with it.
Yeah, this was, I think, the first time we really saw Lauren, that she was like, I'm not super happy with it, but it's what I have, and I'm going to put it down, and I'll be proud of it. But, yeah, she was admitted that she wasn't a big, huge fan of it.
I don't know. To me, it was just like, it was whatever. Not terrible, but not great. I don't know.
Gotta put something down.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what the judges expected for some of these conventional pieces when a 2-day challenge for an unconventional look right after you had another one, so you need, like, more unconventional ideas. It's, like, that's where people are going to spend their time. So it's just, like, looking so harshly at these conventional looks. Nobody sent down just, like, a little black dress. Like, nobody sent down, like, a super simple, like, cut, like, cocktail dress. Like, they all had a little something to them of their own style, or of the style of the unconventional piece. So I thought the fit was a little off, but I think that's just more like the leather aspect of it. Like around the top, it didn't fit that great. And it matched the other dress. I thought it was fine. I'm not a big fan of mustard. But her model, it looked okay on her, like with her skin tone and everything. So I didn't hate it. And Laurence was in the top more so. So they didn't really like her unconventional, but her conventional... they didn't like her conventional, but her unconventional was good enough that she was in the top. So next up we had Robert, and his dress was like a knot, more like a cover-up. Like, macrame is the best way to describe it. A macrame, like, cover-up, and he knotted it and tied it around like a guitar amp cord. that he, like, wrapped around in these kind of weird wavy patterns. That's kind of his signature. And then around that wavy cord, he, like, macrameed it all together in kind of like a mesh net. And then he realized that it was quite exposed. So underneath, he made a, like, bandage skirt, literally using, like, ace bandages.
Yeah.
For her lower half. But her top half, it was just, like, the hope of his, like, macrame pasties. So
did he not put anything on the top? I thought he did.
He only made a bandage skirt that I saw. It wasn't a full top. So he may have done, like, a bandeau or asked her to wear one. But he did have, like, little, like, macrame, like, triangle kind of pieces. So maybe he used that. What did you think of Roberry's anxiety dress?
I did not like this one. Not so much. Get it? Not so much.
Wow.
We're full of jokes. Anyways.
Let's move along.
I don't know. I thought this was like a total disaster. And the judges loved it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God. I don't know. To me, it was so ugly. She was so exposed. I don't know. I mean, maybe with more time, or like maybe if he had like a thicker string. The string he used was so thin.
Yeah.
It was just twine. Like maybe if, yeah, I don't know. Not my favorite. What do you think?
Well, Roberry has had a tendency, despite his quote that I loved, that, like, fashion or art does not have to be sexy. Almost every piece he's made is short. Like, to the point of, like, too short. But this one looked to me like what I imagine, like, an old fisherman of the sea. Like, when he's, like, digging out the bottom of his boat to clean it out before going for, a fish in the spring. He, like, pulls out this big, like, net. Yeah. And it looks like this dress. Like, and he just, like, puts it on his kid. Like, it just looked like a fishing net mixed with, like, that was, like, tangled around a guitar cord. It looked tangled. It didn't look purposeful. And then it also looked like, I don't know if any of you have parents from the 70s, but we have some macrame plant hangers in my house, or like we used to, that my parents have. It looks like one of those, just without the wooden beads.
Yeah. I would agree.
And it was super short. It was like an asymmetrical on one shoulder. I mean, his model is a gorgeous model. Mm-hmm. And she almost kind of made it look cool. But it didn't work for me. It looked like a mess.
Yeah.
I wanted to like it. And I did get anxiety from it. Like, I read that, like, when you look at it, it looked like somebody, like, frantically made it. Mm-hmm. It just didn't look super planned.
No. Like,
he accidentally made a dress, more so than it being planned.
Right.
So then his second dress, the conventional dress, was a 3-pattern, again, like, one-shoulder dress. And one of his patterns was, like, stripes. One was, like, this, like, weird, like, floral kind of thing. And then he had another pattern in there, too. All very different colors, clashing, like, patterns. And it was a short one-shoulder dress. What did you think of that one?
Same. Not my favorite.
Yeah.
Again, I just was like, this is going downhill quick. Don't like this either. It's just like, I don't know. I didn't really see how it connected to the other dress. And, I don't know, those patterns. And they were just like so huge too.
Yeah,
like,
they were big swaths of fabric he stitched together.
I mean, I guess at least he did the most interesting conventional one.
Yeah.
Like, but, I don't know. Not my favorite. No. What do you think?
I thought his conventional dress looked like someone took their dad's ties and made a dress out of them. Just their dad's ties were like the gigantic novelty kind.
Yeah.
Because they were huge. Now the back was all one pattern, but then the front had like these like 3, like 4, like diagonal patterns across the front, and these just so different patterns. I just didn't like it. And I also forgot to mention, for his unconventional look, turning twine into macrame is not transforming your unconventional material.
Yeah,
it still looks like twine. Macrame is not new. It's not something he invented to make knots in these things. So to me, I was like, the birdseat kind of looked like a pattern. Rick's dress looked nothing like what it was. Aaron's dress looked nothing like what it was. But then this one, I'm like, you knotted stuff in twine, but it still looks like twine.
Right.
And then his guitar cord, he like left the ends bare. They were just dangling, like the male end of the cord was just like at the bottom of the dress. Weird.
Yeah.
So last up we had Cornelius, and he made the underneath, I'm not sure. It was like a really simple dress, like black or gray in color, and then he cut diamond shapes out of like plastic cups, like solo cups, and then he spray painted them and he put them on in flowers all over, but not all over enough. Like they were like sporadically in different sizes placed the front of the dress, the sleeves of the dress, the back of the dress, the skirt, and the top. And that's it. He just used cups. What did you think of that?
Yeah, not super impressed. I think Zach said, like, he thought it looked arts and craftsy, and I would agree with that. That's kind of the vibe I got from it, too.
Yeah.
And, like, I don't know, just of all the things you could have used, you just used a plastic cup.
Yeah, I think Erin mentioned something like that, too, and I agreed.
I think she did. And it just, I don't know. You could have chosen anything.
Yeah, or mixed.
Yeah. I wish he had tried to pursue the dog treats more. Because that would have been weird. And it could have potentially been cool. But, I mean, I understand it, though. If something's not working, you gotta change your plan. But, cups.
Yeah, I think he said he spray painted the dog treats and they were looking like cow. Kind of, because he spray painted them like white and black, and I was like, well, what did you expect? So
yeah, just I don't know, stars, flowers, whatever you want to call them.
Flowers, yeah, like black, white, and like lime green, or maybe yellow. It's hard to tell those two colors apart.
It just was on TV. Once again, it's just like a simple, super basic dress with crap just attached to it.
Yeah, not my favorite. It just, if you're going to use just one unconventional material, then at least take it what Barry did, where I can at least see that took a lot of time to make that. While I didn't necessarily appreciate it fully for its macrame nature, at least that looked like it took a lot of time and some skill to create. And it was unique. Whereas anybody can cut cups and put, like I remember like in Girl Scouts making stuff with cut up cups that you paint. So to me, like making a dress, and then I feel like if he was going to go with that theme, he needed to cover it in flowers or do something different on the top or bottom and only do the flowers on another. Because he made a very similar piece for his first unconventional look with the plates and flowers. Remember, he made that green toenail dress with like purple flowers all over it. And this to me was the same idea where like at least that one, he only did the flowers in certain areas. And I think that would have been more successful. And then he could have covered the dress with like, if the dress was black, he could have spray painted the dog treats or dog food black and used that as like to make a texture, or more sunflower seeds or something to make a texture, and then the flowers just kind of make the shape. But he just covered it like a pattern. But then he was running out of cups, so some were small, some were big, some looked better. It was like his emoji dress, where it's like, I get the idea you were going for, but it looks so rushed and childish that I just can't take it seriously.
Yeah.
Because he just made his emojis out of tape and they were all crooked and stuff, so...
Yeah.
Not a fan. Next, his second piece was a black jumpsuit, which is his first jumpsuit. Again, with a cropped leg, and then it may have been a jumpsuit or separates. It was hard to tell. Because
I think it was a jumpsuit.
He said jumpsuit, but then Tim was like, separates would be easier, and it's hard to tell. He might have just tucked it in. I think it was a jumpsuit.
It was because he put the zipper in the back.
Oh, okay, true. And then it had like a gold arm applique because this is the season of applique.
Yeah.
Like just on the arms. But the arms were like an interesting length, like almost down to the elbow. But yeah, just a little black jumpsuit.
I kind of felt like, I don't know, this was one of the more well-made conventional pieces. It seemed to fit her pretty well. And I did like that he challenged himself to do something different. But I don't know, I didn't connect this at all, really, to his other piece. And I don't know, I'm not sure if the applique stuff was necessary. I mean, is it ever?
No, I think it was just a design detail to make you think back to, but I would have used a little bit of cup instead.
Yeah.
Like, make, like, one little flower, one little thing, or use a different fabric or material to make it look like that. Because the color, other than both of the dresses being kind of black, that his applique he used was, like, gold, and then the other applique, or, like, his flowers were not gold, so.
Right.
I'm not a big fan of jumpsuits. I thought this jumpsuit was fine.
Yeah.
I didn't see how it went with his other look, and yeah, he made a jumpsuit, but it was as basic of a jumpsuit to me as Rick's dress, as Laurence's dress, so I was like, yep.
Yeah.
And 2 jumpsuits, 3 dresses, you know, so to me it was just kind of like most Cornelius things, it's like almost non-existent. It was fine. It looked like it fit okay, except for I thought the zipper looked weird, like crooked. Although Zach Posen was like, oh, love the zipper, perfect. Or something along those lines. I was like, it looks crooked to me, but maybe it's different up close. Like, I give a lot of benefit of the doubt because I watch this show on an iPad while I'm, like, going about my morning routine. So there's little things that I will admit that I occasionally miss. So that was the runway. So Roberi was in the top. I don't know that I said that. And then Cornelius was also in the bottom. So the winner this time, so the top 3 again were Aaron, Laurence, and Roberi. And Roberi with his second win. They liked the macrame.
Yeah.
I guess because of the time it must have taken. But to me, well, I think we both agree that it wasn't successful for us. But
I was completely shocked.
Yeah. But now Roberi gets 50 nights.
Yeah.
Best Western all over the world. So that'll be cool.
And he gets to go to the final.
And he gets to go to New York Fashion Week.
Yep.
So the next person then they let in, said was safe, was Aaron. So
no
basically,
surprise.
yeah. And then the third was Laurence. So that was, I think if they were only going to have 3 finalists, those are the 3 that pretty much from the beginning of the season we kind of knew that, like, Aaron, Laurence, Roberi always seemed to have stronger ideas. I think there's a couple people that got out, or, like, we originally thought Tasha was going to do some more, but it was really just the first challenge, and then she kind of fell off the map. Dexter had his moments, Alex had his moments, but they both left pretty earlier than we expected, I think. And then it was between, the bottom 2 was between Rick and Cornelius.
Yep.
And it turned out that Cornelius went home. I'll let you have a small second of joyful glee.
Well, this was earlier. I tried to start talking to Riley about this show, and she stopped me. She told me I had to hold it together and
save it for the Rev. Yeah.
So what I was going to say earlier was that I feel like I didn't get the satisfaction I thought I would get. Like, don't get me wrong, I am pleased. I'm pleased that he is gone. Because he just wasn't my favorite, and I just didn't feel like he was ever, like, on par skill-wise with the other designers. Like, I just felt like he was just so out of his league. And he's young. I mean, he's got time.
Yeah, he's only 24, so...
So, like, I mean, it'd be different if he was, like, Christian Siriano.
Right.
Because Christian, he was really young when he won.
Yeah, but he was fierce.
Yeah. Oh, my God. And
he's still doing stuff. He's probably the most...
He's probably one of the most successful, if not
in terms of commercialization. Like, I actually see his stuff. Like, around. Like, you can see, like, his bags or phone case or stuff like that. And it's like, oh. And he's on the red carpet sometimes. People wearing his stuff, so...
But... Christian, Cornelius, no, not the same.
No.
And so I'm happy with, like, that it's going to be these 4, but I don't know. Like, I think it would have been better if he'd made something, like, truly awful and, like...
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I don't know. If this had been, like, a different week and maybe not the final, I feel like he still would have been safe.
Yeah.
Because to me, this wasn't, like, truly horrible. It was pretty on par. I never thought it would be between him and Rick.
No, but Rick's had a couple missteps that I feel like this is his second really big low point after his, like, glow in the dark thing.
Yeah.
But just because he doesn't take as many risks, I feel like he's been in the bottom or, like, lower. But yeah, I agree. I wanted to enjoy this a little more, and Cornelius had a great, like, vibe about it. Like, he was like, oh yeah, can we do this again? He's like, but I made it this far for being how young I am, and I'm really proud. And he wasn't crying or anything. He seemed pretty positive. So
I know, it was so annoying.
I want tears. I want drama. Well, there wasn't Dexter there to be like, oh, sorry, Cornelius, see you later, I guess. Wow, this is getting really dark. So
yeah.
Oh, okay. I was pushing the wrong button. We're using Maggie's Mac. It's too much for me. We still have plenty of battery. So I thought we were going to have to end a little early, but we don't. So that means that Cornelius is out. And Aaron, Rick, Laurence, and Roberi will go to New York Fashion Week.
Yep.
I have looked at the TV schedule, the TV guide, for the rest of this season. And it looks like there's a 2-part finale, which is traditional. So next week, the first part, I'm guessing people will see like Tim in people's homes, and then they'll come back to New York and probably have some last minute twist that they'll all be shocked about, but happens every season, and have to do like a mini version of their collection. And then the week after that, which is the Thursday right before Christmas, is finale part 2, and we'll get to see the New York Fashion Week full collections, which is always cool. And I think we have some cool finalists this time. I think we're going to see some very interesting, like, especially between Aaron and Roberi, I think we're going to see some kind of wacky out there things. And then with Laurence and Rick, I think we're going to see maybe some more, like, wearable, marketable stuff. So that could be cool.
Yeah.
And Laurence seemed excited to make her own stuff and not have to follow, like, the guidelines. So that could be cool, because she's always felt so restrained. But I also think she really plays to, like, the challenge and the judges and kind of plays it safe. So she could shock us here with something cool too. So
yeah. Did you watch the commercial for next week?
I did not.
You didn't?
No. Fill me in.
There's a little surprise.
Uh-oh.
A little surprise guest.
Oh, well, always.
No, guess who?
Yes? Is it someone from the season?
No. But you'll know. It's one of your favorite people ever.
Is it someone Project Runway related?
Yeah.
I don't know if you mean, like, actually my favorite or, like,
no, I do. Is
it Keeney?
No.
Oh.
It's not a designer. Well, he is, actually. It's a he.
It's a he. A designer that's a... Michael Kors.
Yes!
Yes! He's coming back!
I told you. I told you I wasn't joking.
Oh, that's amazing. No, lately the versions I'm watching, they don't have the next week preview.
Okay. By the way, sorry, headphone users.
I'll tune the audio down a little bit.
No, don't. Leave the surprise in there.
Oh, Michael Kors. I do miss his... I like Zach Posen, and I feel like he gives slightly better critiques that are more usable in terms of, like, this is why this isn't good as a fashion perspective. But Michael Kors, his one-liners... historical.
I can't wait.
I cannot wait. I think he has come back for a couple of the finales before, but that excites me. Him and Nina critique. Oh, I can't wait.
They'll be back together.
Yes.
The gang's all here.
The gang's all here.
Squad.
The squad. Well, that's exciting. I'm glad you told me. That's fun. All right. Well, do you have any final comments?
No.
For this episode?
Nope.
We're
finally wrapping this up.
Yes.
It's been a long season.
It has been a long season.
It's getting cold out.
It is. We are, as always, we are sitting in a RAV SUV at a park, and we can't have the engine on, and it is 10 degrees out.
When we first started this, it was so hot.
Yes, like
and
95, and now we're both
freezing.
sitting in our pea coats, like shivery looking.
That just like tells you how long this season
Well, in
has
our very
gone
first
on.
podcast, I think it's been going great.
Yeah, I've had fun.
So we're gonna have some sweet finale episodes, and then that'll be it for season 15. But otherwise, I think that's it for season 15, episode 12.
Yep.
We'll see you guys next week for part 1
All right.
of the finale.